should both be relatively fresh coming into things.
Yeah, both teams just kind of breezing past their respective opponents, and now it leads them into a best of 5. Keep in mind, whoever wins this matchup, they go straight into Group D alongside Damwon Kia, Natas Vincere, Oxygen, and Team 1. So that's where we're sitting, Ollie. That's, I'd say, not the easiest of groups that you could have pulled. There are some big teams in there.
I don't think it's the easiest. I don't think it's the hardest. There's a world where you see MIBR or Black Dragons get in and actually make a little bit of noise in the group if they do get that far. So we'll have to see how they get themselves through it. Obviously, the fewer maps that you're going to play in a best of 5 a week before the biggest event of the year is of course going to be quite big as well. If a team could come away here tonight with a little 3-0, 3-1, 3-2, that could, 3-0, 3-1, that would be a little bit more beneficial, I think, for them. But in the immediacy, we're going to be dealing with 2 maps that are fairly standard here. We've got Clubhouse, we've got Oregon. It's a great way to start things off. Black Dragon's going to be starting off on the defense here for our opening map of Clubhouse. The bans as they came through: Hibana, Thatcher Cade, and a Valkyrie. So we've almost reverted demo back to very standard stuff. This is what we're expecting.
It is. Hibana going to be great for trying to hold on to that basement. That means that impact tricking is going to be a little bit more dominant, that we'll see from here time to time. Even a bandit might come in. The fact that, we're seeing the Kai be banned out, maybe that might force into a bandit pick. But then again, Maverick is also open, Ollie. So how much does that really play into it? I think Maverick should be brought every single round. It's going to be handy for opening up, any walls. Just even the dirt. You think about somebody light rotating over with the low torch, creating another option, plenty of room for it. We're going to go straight to the gym. This is a bit of a strange one that we see, Ollie. Not too often that we see the gym as the first pick. Typically, this is the tertiary bombs, like the third pick. But no, here we are.
It's not really going to do too much to disrupt MIBR, I don't think. You tend to pick a lineup and stick to it somewhat, and MIBR are going full belt and braces here, tripling down on that hard breach. Not only have they got the Thermite and the Ace, but they're also bringing the Maverick on for good measure. So there's no shortage of options, as you were talking about there, Demo. And I think it's one of the biggest and most important things on a map like Clubhouse. How detrimental is it if you lose your hard breacher straight away? We saw it yesterday happen a couple of times to Black Dragons when they played this very map. Live getting himself first blooded when they were attacking downstairs into Church and Arsenal as he was playing on the Ace, and the whole round sort of fell apart from that point onwards. We were dealing with a slightly different set of operator bans, but the sentiment remains. MIBR, they're not looking to let that happen here, and they're really making sure they've got almost triple redundancy on that roll.
Load a new magazine.
Straight up to the rooftop. As many gym and bedroom attacks kind of develop this way as Ollie get up to the rooftop, open up the hatch, figure out, okay, what wall do we want to choose? Here's the benefit of bringing, a ton of hard breach. You're bringing in the Ace, the Thermite, the Maverick. You can open up everything. The world's your oyster in this scenario. And I think, if anything that we've seen yesterday, Ollie, from some Clubhouse games, some teams are actually quite beneficial if they have more than one hard breach, because we've seen a few times where an Ace was actually getting picked off before even using the gadget stages.
Options are always going to be key, and that's something that MIBR are giving themselves plenty of. They've got the jacuzzi wall open. There's a bit of a drone work gone ahead, and Fowles is actually going to aggressively push on through. He scouted himself out a kill there on the drone, and he said, thank you very much, Bassetto. I will collect that immediately. Nice opening pick there. Unusual to see it on your hard breach, especially when he's carrying diffuser, but still, it's an opportunity. Give MIBR a chance, and they will take it. We've said it so many times over the course of today, and I'm sure that we will continue to. The diffuser juggled now over toward Philippox as he lines himself up outside of that jacuzzi wall. Raps now coming in to provide a little bit of cover onto that main stair. There's no urgency here from MIBR. They know what they need to do. They've got a lot of information already out there. They haven't got too many drones left. But as the burn starts to come in and pressure mounts into logistics, Lukin actually going to get himself taken on down there, but Philippox in there with the 1-for-1 trade. It's maybe not going as smoothly as they would have liked here, Demo.
Yeah, just a strange jump in and just gives a freebie away to Black Dragons, but there is still plenty of players up for MIBR, and they're in the bomb site, and they're going to try and go for the plant, but just Fowles doing all the work. Lurking inside of office, just sits back and lets them all jump through. Fowles holding it down for his team.
Big round for Fowles. Big round on the Fragmite. Opens up with a nice kill through gym door into master bedroom. And then just sits himself in logistics and waits for the players rotating to come on through and join the party. You got to question the calls from Black Dragons. You got to question their information. Did they have enough of it? It didn't seem like they did. They were very unaware. Not only that the jacuzzi wall had gotten open, but why is no one watching that? That's the danger when you double reinforce the bathroom like that and you don't play with it soft. You don't play a bulletproof. You don't play a mirror window or any sort of information on there. You leave yourself very susceptible to somebody just nipping in, picking up a kill, and then dipping back out again. That's exactly what happened.
Yeah, quite easy for them. Is this the start of it all? Is this what's more to come from MIBR? I mean, they looked deadly today on the attack. I think, well, out of the... Well, they didn't actually play too many attacks, but I think they played something like 6 attacking rounds, and they only dropped 1 of those. They look good. They look good against Agave.
They did. They look good on both the attack and the defense, and that's the dangerous thing right now. Is you don't really want to give them much chance on either because they are going to take some liberty with it. Yeah, and they're gonna showcase that talent that they've got. I don't think it's too much of a shock to see Black Dragons switch things up here and take us downstairs. Gym and bedroom, we commented on it at the time. It's a viable bomb site. There's nothing wrong with it, but is it necessary? Do you need to be going there as a first pick when you've got something like Church and Arsenal that you can lean into a little bit more? And that's what Black Dragons have done. Gone for a little bit more of a roaming setup. We see the Mute, the Mozzie, the Legion thrown in. So you're going to expect to try and clear out the majority of that first floor, which isn't something that Black Dragons tend to struggle with. You're just giving them a task at this point, and you know that they're going to be able to do it.
Yeah, we never seen these two teams go up against each other on Clubhouse throughout the year of BR6 that we had, Ollie. And whenever the 3 times that the teams met on those occasions, it's 2-1 at the moment to MIBR in terms of wins to losses. And the only loss came, Ollie, in that split 2. And we know that the MIBR split 2 is not the same MIBR that we've seen in split 1 and split 3. And of course, how they're playing today, because they had that injury, didn't they? So just off those basis, it's very difficult to not see that MIBR are the clear favorites going into this best of 5.
Blue Kid on the roam clear now. He's made his way into bedroom. He's obviously working off a bit of information here because he does seem to be moving fairly confidently. He knows that somebody's inside a cache and that there is a little bit of a rotation to worry about. The drone is going to be inside of the doorway, but it's Raps to pick up that first kill as he shuts Patoxy down. Can get a bit of a line of sight onto the second as well, as that wall will be made short work of by the lifeline, and pre-fires continue to ring on through. We do also have a player downstairs, Redux. He's ready to collect the rotation, but immediately is going to be traded. Perez grabs one back. It's a small price to pay for burning half of the round. You've lost your 2 roamers, but you've also lost a C4 there in the form of Live.
Drone work still being done. MIBR making sure that no stone will be left unturned. So now they start to rotate in, and this is where we see the utility come in. The hatches will be opened up, even dirt might be opened up. It just really depends on how they feel if they want to orientate this attack. They still have, you know, that single man in towards blue who can rotate down. You can see Lukid create some real issues going down into Oil Pit or even just down the Adam stairs. He has options. I think that's the power that MIBR have with that extra man, isn't it? That extra man on a Clubhouse defense attack, it does wonders for your team because it's just another, it's just another something that Black Dragons need to look at.
And losing Redux, in reality, they haven't lost too much. They've lost a couple of grenades, but ultimately they're going to be fairly happy with that going through as a trade. 25 seconds and something is going to have to happen. We can see the 3 remaining players split up here from Black Dragons. We've got 1 in blue, 1 in Church, and 1 in the back of Arsenal. Toxic Babe canisters come to try and stem the flow into Moto. Philippox has made his rotation over toward Dirt. Raps going to push himself down the main stairs. There's not a lot of time here, especially if there's a couple of those goo mines out there. Kills now do start to trade, but there's only 2 seconds left on the clock. And poor old Raps is caught with the goo mine in his leg. Cannot make it to the diffuser in time. Uncharacteristically there for MIBR, they really left themselves a lot to do with not a lot of time remaining.
Yeah. Time waste worked really well for Black Dragons. Yes, they may have got the trade-off, but they were able to eat up a big chunk from MIBR. It didn't feel as if MIBR really had their priorities in check. I think just off the basis of the positioning they were in, I think maybe the triple wall Church would have been better. And the reason why is You think about back armory, that was never checked. They didn't have any soft destruction, no holes above the Legion in that scenario, and Legion's able to get a free pick on the man dropping the hatch. So I think maybe in that scenario, if you don't have that soft destruction and you don't have armory being checked off, triple wall is going to be your safer bet, especially whenever we've seen a man going down blue. That would have applied a lot of pressure.
Attackers need to locate and defuse.
There was obviously an unsure call, wasn't there? Because there was a super late rotation from Philippox to get himself through dirt tunnel. And you're thinking at that point, I'm seeing like less than 10 seconds left. That's not the play. That's not where you want to be, funneling through that single doorway when all it's going to take is one of the defenders to turn their attention in that direction, which is exactly what happened because they weren't being pressured from those key areas, as you mentioned. A round is a round, and Black Dragons have picked one up here on the defense, so they've got themselves off the board nice and early. Going to switch things up now, take us upstairs to Cash and CCTV, still avoiding the repeat of that gym and bedroom, but I'm sure that if they are successful here, they'll pull it out once again. But it makes sense. They're going to be investing in the setup inside of that garage. You can see Bassetto, couple of mute jammers down just to protect garage wall, leaving one soft, so it is that that classic Black Dragons approach. We saw them leave that same panel soft yesterday in their game as they were really looking to rely on that utility from deep, and they play with the smoke deep inside of Cash. They play with the C4 deep inside of Cash. Someone that's not going to be playing demo, Blue Kid, sent to the cameras. Bit of a team kill.
He's gone. He's out of here. That's a big blunder for MIBR. Already a 4 versus 5, and Black Dragons had to do nothing. Nothing at all, Ollie. So this is a good start for them. Considering that it's the Sophia, a lot of utility that gets brought in, especially whenever you think about how this Cash kind of plays out, where you have bulletproof cameras that may be lurking. You have, maybe deployable shields that can be up. That's going to be the only way you can get rid of them at a distance, unless you want to risk kind of sticking your head out and trying to toss a nade, which, as we know, it's always tricky, Ollie. Nobody wants to try and swing with a nade in their hand, so it's the safe way to do it. So we'll see if Black Dragons could hold on to this, or maybe MIBR might be able to battle back and get some kills. It looks as if they're kind of opting for the garage side of things, so it's all about the catwalk clear, as we like to call it. Downstairs in garage, the Jaeger will be spotted out, and that's good information for MIBR, but somehow still Perez wins it. They knew he's lurking down there, yet he still wins the engagement.
Perez quietly consistent. We've barely said his name so far, and he's picked himself up 4 kills. Could be a little slow burner here as Redux goes down for the chase, but at this point you're chasing a shadow. Perez has already rotated fully up those main stairs, and Redux knows better than to go after him. Time is, of course, ticking. 3 versus 5 here, and still that wealth of utility to chunk on through. Live 3 Toxic Babe canisters in hand. C4 still in the hands of Bassetto. Redux going to take a more direct approach as he tries to pre-fire his way up those Cash stairs. Fouls did come through with the cover, but it leaves a lot for him to do. Now left inside the 1 versus 3, and it's only a matter of time until that utility starts to come through. The Toxic Babe canisters, sure, they've been removed, but Bassetto has a C4. You better believe that he is going to use it. There it is. Underneath, quick rotation, drops the construction hatch, and it's as free as he likes.
So simple for him there in the final few seconds. A bit of a bad attack there from MIBR, Ollie. Nothing really to rant about on their side. It just seemed as if, that incident happened at the beginning, and then players thought, okay, I need to do something, and they almost tried to play the hero. We've seen the man inside of Adam tried to play the hero against the Jaeger, lost it against Perez. Then you see Redux walking up the stairs by himself, trying to play the hero. What happens to him? Getting shut down. Black Dragons, very, very patient in that scenario. They know that they have that man advantage, and they're keeping it.
Maybe time for a bit of a hamburger call?
Possibly.
Protect your bombs from being defused.
MIBR just moving a little bit too quickly there. They got away with the first round for relatively free. It was all off the back of fouls. He picked himself up 3 kills in that first round. He's had 1 since. You don't expect a great deal of kills coming from a Thermite player that's currently carrying the diffuser, even if there is an ace still available as well. Fouls is one that we look toward for getting that plant down more often than not. But MIBR struggling to find success in the other 2 sites means that it puts a little bit more pressure here onto round number 4. They need to break that seal. They need to come away with something here.
5 seconds left before insertion.
Back to gym and bedroom for Black Dragons. The other 2 sites, of course, locked out, so they have to go this way. And last time for MIBR, it was fairly swift, wasn't it? A couple plays in the windows, fouls holding in towards logistics. Pretty decisive round from MIBR on all accounts, but the other two have not been that at all. It's been quite the opposite. It's almost as if MIBR, you know, a very clean round. Round 2, a round that they should have won, and then round 3, a round that they never had a chance. This is where all of a sudden it goes from good to worse, Ollie.
It's got to be in the back of your mind, hasn't it, at some point? We've seen a bit of a lineup change. Reduct no longer opting to bring the Maverick, instead just choosing to stick with the nades and switch over onto the Iana. Obviously feeling like they've got enough hard breach as it is with the ace and the thermite. And there's an argument to say that they're right. Plenty of walls now being opened. We've got hatch into Logi, exterior hatch into construction, and into gym, and sorry, into jacuzzi. I think that we've seen that panel reinforced again. We have. There's a double reinforcement there that's gone down on the bathroom, and there's actually a bit of work been done above that to prep it in case an impact trick is going to be required. We do have Ion playing in the bathroom tight. Alibi, of course, with the impacts, has the ability to do that, and is going to be quite difficult to remove from there.
Tricky position. The only thing that really Ion has to be worried about is even nades from the attackers going in over his head. Perez wins that engagement against Reduct. That's a good fight. That kind of stems where MIBR want to try and push from, and being able to shut down Reduct in that fashion, that's going to help your team out immensely, because now it's MIBR, they still have to take that side of the map. It's still something that they have to overcome. Fowles has been downed. I don't know if he's in a good position to get picked up, but the fact that he's still alive leads me to believe that nobody can really finish him off if you're Black Dragons. Perez just stuck in a corner by radio, and Raps will quite literally wrap around and get that pick. Fowles has been picked up, so he's alive and well. Still has 2 flashbangs to his name. There isn't really any nades. The fact that they lost Reduct, who is the sole nade operator, some strong positions, such as the man inside a bathroom, he's just going to be continuing to sit in there and be a bit of a menace.
It's going to be more and more difficult to deal with as the time creeps on, and we can see that problem really coming to the fore here. Lukid, he has been able to shut down onto Bassetto. There is going to be a player inside of logistics as well. Raps, as though he's aware of something, he's certainly intent on holding the angle, but this is where the bathroom player comes in big. Ion shuts Lukid down. The plant is being teased now inside of Gym. It is being covered somewhat by Fowls, but Live finds Raps. Rotates himself now through. It's a retake, so it's not impossible, but Philippox is unlikely to get himself out. Drops the hatch, could rotate the main stairs. Fowls picks up a very important kill there over onto Ion, as Live is now left desperately trying to salvage the round. Could choose to jump on, and is in fact going to do just exactly that. If he sticks this and nobody pre-fires it, what is going on? Fowls finally pre-fires on through the wall. Scrappy stuff. There wasn't a lot of time left there, Demo.
No, there was not indeed, but still we managed to get that round in. And I suppose that kind of highlights the advantages and disadvantages of reinforcing that bathroom wall. Generally, teams will have a rotate in that wall, Ollie, to give them a rotate into Gym, for example. And if you think about where the plant was going down, if you're the ace, you know that you can only get killed from one direction, because the bathroom player, he's stuck in bathroom, doesn't have that rotate because it's reinforced off. So by trapping yourself in bathroom, it actually gives an very, very easy cover going down just from the window. You've seen that the Thermite was just zoned in, knowing that the Alibi had to come at those vertical holes and nothing else. So maybe that's something to think about. Yes, it may look good on the surface, but if you don't have the man advantage and you're up against it, you're in a hell in a cell. You're stuck.
The second time that Black Dragons have set up in that manner as well, and I don't think that we'll get there again in terms of a site. There's other sites that they can go to that they've been successful at, but it really does start to beg a question that if that's the only way that you've got of really playing that, why are they so reluctant to play that as a rotation? Because MIBR were able to solve that problem and able to solve it with relative ease. Back down to the basement we go, though, and a very different lineup this time, Demo. You think back previously to round number 2, where we last saw this site. We had a Mute, we had a Mozzie, we had a Legion. Legion basically won the round because MIBR left it so late to push that they were getting caught with goo mines left and right. And I think it was Raps in the end that was playing the Twitch. He got caught up in the goo mine and couldn't get to the diffuser because of the slow effect, couldn't pick it up because he was already in an action, as it were. So it's quite interesting to see a fairly drastic change here coming through into the Black Dragons lineup. They've gone a lot more focused on catching utility. We've got the Wamai, we've got the Jaeger. We've still got the Malusi for a little bit of that slowing power and a pseudo trap operator. But the one that gets me, Demo, is the Goyo.
Yeah, Goyo comes in. Maybe that's because you see Wamai and Jaeger both being up, so you can really cover those shields down well. I like the change from MIBR. Raps on the buck. They know that it's going to be a basement attack. And what was the one thing only that caught them out? The man deep armoring. They had no vertical destruction inside a kitchen, so bringing that buck is going to help them tenfold. If he stays alive, of course. That's the main thing you need to worry about. But if they can get that buck in, rip open kitchen's going to be free for that hatch drop.
It is an area that MIBR lacked previously, isn't it? They didn't get sufficient control of the kitchen. Already we can see a little bit of attention being paid. Raps just opening up the floor somewhat, letting everybody know of his intention. Fowls is going to exothermic onto the stock hatch as the kitchen corridor now starts to get opened up as well. Banshee's starting to be removed. Still a deployable shield to deal with. It's going to be facing the bottom of main stairs. But for the meantime, Raps should be allowed to go in and start skeleton key opening up that kitchen floor.
As free as you like for Raps. Only one C4 that he really has to worry about also, not the heaviest C4 lineup coming in from Black Dragons. A lot of impact tricks though. They've got 4 of those in the back pocket, and this is expected with a Habana ban on board. The Habana ban basically limits you as an attacking side to have to use either ace charges or use the thermite charges, both of which don't have as much ammunition as what 18 Habana pellets do. And they're a lot easier to impact trick also, so they have, you know, that bigger surface area, therefore it's going to be easier to catch with the impact nades. That's the only thing that MIBR really should be worried about. They have lost their ace. Philippox goes down, and I do worry, Ollie, because I'm looking at 40 seconds. They're stacked up towards blue. The last time they pushed in towards blue, they got shot down. It might be the same story for them, and it might end in misery.
Getting a little bit of deja vu creeping on in here. Lukid full white flash as Redux tries to nade in behind, but there's too much utility and it hasn't been sufficiently burned. C4 is going to fall just a little bit short as Redux takes down Perez. Perez gets itchy feet there, didn't really need to move, but chose to do so anyway. Lukid, one-man army in back-to-back with Redux. Wow. Fouls from the other side off the back of sheer firepower, Demo.
Great tag team in blue. Just that push and pull technique. One guy kind of edging out the Jaeger, kind of out behind the cover of the generator, and then the other man strikes. Great execute from that blue, and it really came down to those two guys in blue. It's always a temperamental area to push into, is that blue tunnel, because it's just a 1v1 gunfight. That's all it is. It's just going to be an absolute slaughterhouse, and there's no real way that I feel you can control that, because it's just siege. It's just a gunfight, and whoever wins it will win that round indefinitely. Blue is the biggest 50-50 on this map by far. If you win it, you'll win the round. If you lose it, you're done.
Attackers have located a bomb.
Fortunately for MIBR, they won it.
Exactly that.
They won it very well. Not only did they win one engagement, but they won 2 inside of blue. And it was the coordination that they were able to push in with. There wasn't, you know, the greatest amount of intel there. They didn't know just how many Wamais and ADSs were kicking about. And you could see that demonstrated with how the nades and stuff like that was getting eaten on up. But ultimately, they come away with the round, and that is all that anybody remembers. Now, they've really been able to flick a switch here, Demo. They have turned this from what was looking like it could be a little bit dicey for a time. So now there's a potential for MIBR to take an advantage here at the half. 3 rounds to 2. Back upstairs to CCTV and Cash. Sure, they weren't successful here last time, but they seem to have booked up their ideas here.
Have taken control of the game, and they have to go upstairs now to the cash room. This was by far their worst attack, Ollie. It was very lackluster, a lot of hero plays coming in, and it just ended in a big mess. So let's see if MIBR can maybe recalibrate themselves and get this cash underway. Because, I mean, on surface, this is quite an attacker-favored bomb site, in my opinion, Ollie. The fact that you're dealing with a bomb site that can be split in 2 by simply opening up an outside wall, it's massive. And you as a defender, what do you do against that? Yes, bandit tricking and kides. We know mute jammers, they can all be used to try and slow them down. But it is inevitable that this wall's going to be open. It's always going to be open. There's more than enough ways that attackers can get in there and kind of deroute anyone who may be pestering around. So, yeah, straight away, walls opened up, and this just creates this cross-section where the guy inside a catwalk, he's now stuck in catwalk, and the guy stuck in cash, they're now stuck in cash, and there's no way you're getting across it.
Special charge. Stay clear.
does become very difficult to traverse the site, and as you say, splitting it in two like that, it's exactly what you need to be doing early on, and that's why we praise the teams that are able to get that wall open effectively, quickly, because ultimately it gives less opportunity for defenders to move. There's a lot of information here for Reduct. He knows that there's going to be somebody on the catwalk. He takes his time. He hangs his shot back a little bit, and Perez will punish him for it. Not sure how Perez is still alive. Eventually, Fouls comes in and finishes him off, but a lot of damage has been done. Reduct, he was popping off this morning, Demo. He was really having a great day, and he's a little bit slow tonight. We see him at 4 and 5, and he's regularly first blood for the side of MIBR, and we don't always see the most use out of those nades.
Yeah, he had a lot of opening picks, didn't he, in his earlier game, but not happening in Clubhouse. Still, as a trade, though, they have the catwalk control, Ollie, which is the main thing that they wanted, and they still are in good time. They've got a minute 15. Garage is theirs. They can now walk up, and they can start looking for that plant. They still have some players lurking around downstairs. Wonder what they're up to. Remember, Raps has smokes, which is quite crucial into actually being able to cover off some of these positions and moving in for that plant. In comes Raps. He's going to try and take the fight up. The red stairs will win it against Patoxy. Toxic Babe is going to try and smoke at the players looking for that plant. Philippox in the thick of it. Live now swings in towards Radio. Finds Philippox an even playing field now. 3 versus 3. Black Dragon's up against it, but they're still fighting back, Ollie.
And they're doing a good job of that. Live still got a Toxic Babe canister in hand, and it looks like he's going to need it. 35 seconds left. He's got himself into no man's land right on the bomb chassis, and Lukid holding the cross shuts him down. Ion now with all of the work to do, picks himself up a great kill there onto Lukid. He knows that somebody's on red stairs, and he's going to find the second. He's now in a 1 versus 1. The plant has been confirmed. Both players similar HP, but Fouls goes for the peak. Why does he do it? Ion, what a display of skill. 3 perfect shots there to net Black Dragons the round and level things up here going into the half.
Oh, he's been gifted a miracle there, Ollie. 1 versus 3. Gets that first pick onto the guy in the catwalk. Sure, that happens. That's quite an easy pre-fire spot. You expect somebody to be in that position. But the second kill, you have to question the man in red stairs, Ollie. As soon as that kill happened to the man in catwalk, why is he not there for the refrag? That should come in an instant. There's no crossfire being held, and you're giving him individual 1v1s. And look what he's done to you.
He's just won 3 1v1s, hasn't he? Essentially, there's an argument to say that nobody should have peaked any of that. You know, the guy on the catwalk maybe shouldn't have been peaking. Certainly Fouls after the plant's gone down. There's a question to whether he should be peaking or not. I understand why he's done it, because you don't know Ion's movements there. You don't know that Ion is sat holding an angle. For all you know, he might be running at you. And in the heat of the moment, it's, you know, better to maybe take a chance on a swing and catch someone in a sprint or moving, as opposed to someone static holding an angle. And then you look toward the guy on red and you go, God, like, such a good position. Yeah. Didn't even need to challenge. Could have just played from below or something like that. So we're going to get a little highlight of this now. This second one for me is the one. He just shuts Raps down. Fouls, confirms the plant, and Curiosity really gets the better of him there. Just patience from Ion. Patience, and it paid off.
10 seconds to insertion.
So an even split for Clubhouse.
5 seconds remaining.
Which I think, just considering the bans, it is fairly expected. You know, Habana is a big heavy hitter for the attackers whenever you look towards that basement. Obviously, Kaid being banned away for the defense. That's great for Cash Walls and Jim. And even the basement also, you can kind of hatch if you need to. So it is fairly even. I don't really know if you can swing one way or another in terms of attacker-sided or defender-sided. But now we kick things off with, again, a gym and bedroom. Both teams looking to start things off, and usually the third bomb site choice.
Strange decision, but one that has been made nonetheless. Maybe MIBR saying, come on, we'll show you how to do it. We'll show you how to defend gym and bedroom on the opener. But it's a preference that both teams have shown so far. Black Dragon's going for a slightly different lineup here. They're opting for 2 hard breach, save the thermite. Instead, they're going to be bringing an ace and a maverick. I guess the more interesting one is perhaps the Flores bringing the Rotero drones, trying to gather that info and really work on it that way. Perez finds himself a freebie. Fleepox, why are you downstairs? He's going to pick himself up another area if he's not careful. Live nicks it away, but the kill and the intention was there. Lukid going to be the second to fall. MIBR already fighting from 2 behind.
Yeah, maybe this is where Black Dragons are saying this is how you attack a gym and bedroom, perhaps, Ollie. But then again, MIBR, we've seen how clean they were for those gym and bedroom attacks. It's more the other sites that caused them some issues. But this is a good start from Black Dragons. 2 early kills that gives them plenty of time to formulate their next step and try and figure out where's the best area to assault. You see a very risky reinforcement come in from Raps, but he's alive. He's gotten away with it. Fouls. Oh, eats a nade. Maybe there was the second. But nope, manages to skirt away from it. A sliver of HP, but as long as he's alive, Ollie, those toxic babes are going to keep singing. The impact tries to go in and stop that ace charge, open up any more of the wall. I don't know if he was successful, but still it gives Black Dragons just an angle to cover off anyone who may be lurking inside of logistics. 50 seconds or so to go, and Black Dragons, it look as if they're going to try and flood in from construction.
Live going to be leading the charge there with the diffuser. Just seeing if there's anybody they can find inside a bathroom. Fouls is already pretty low. He's only going to be 1 bullet at best. Live just baiting himself back and forth. There's a lot of stuns getting thrown on out now. Redux is going to be downed in action. Raps able to shut Bassetto down. Finally grabs one back here for MIBR. 25 seconds left to go. And essentially 4 versus 2. It isn't going to be very easy, but it all depends on the approach that Black Dragons choose to take. If they just decide to flood one window and there's a body looking in the right direction, it could go badly. Perez, second kill on the round. Technically the third if you discount the one that he got pinched away from him from under his nose earlier. But this is almost certainly going to be the round. 5 seconds left. Is there sufficient information here? Can the plant be stopped? No, it cannot. Plant will be successful, but only by a sliver. A quick drop and a quick kill that resulted actually in a trade. But regardless, Black Dragons come away with their opening attack.
They're hyped. You look at the player cams, Ollie, you know, you're seeing the round comes in and you're seeing the big, come on, you know, you're seeing that, you're feeling that energy. And Black Dragons, they're amped up. They're ready to go. MIBR, not so much. A little bit of a, come on, guys, we need to kind of win this. We want to stay in Sweden, don't we? Because at the end of the day, Ollie, Black Dragons are the underdogs. They're the team not pitched to win this. By all accords, it should be MIBR. If we look at the history of both the teams, we look at the experience across the players, everything leads to MIBR should win this. But, as we know on LATAM, Ollie, not as clear-cut as that.
Black Dragons are that team that often play gatekeeper and play upsetter, aren't they? They are that team that can put in a good performance, especially against another Brazilian side, because that's their bread and butter. It's what they're used to doing. So it's not surprising me to see this one go fairly back and forth. We've had both teams be in the lead at one point or another throughout this map so far. Don't forget, it's only map number 1. There's still 4 maps left to play inside of this best of 5, so there's plenty of siege to be getting around tonight. There is no worry about that. MIBR changing tact. They're going to take us downstairs and follow the same rotation that Black Dragons trailblazed earlier, taking us down into the church and arsenal.
Yep, downstairs. This was, I believe, a 50-50, wasn't on attack and defense wins. See if that's going to change. So far as it stands, gym and bedroom entirely attacker-sided. And then cash room entirely defender-sided at the moment, with this being the middle ground. So that's where we stand in terms of the stat percentages, Ollie. Let's see if that's going to change. Let's see if it maybe teeters towards the defense, maybe it teeters towards the attack. Only time will tell. Black Dragons in very swiftly have secured that mid floor as quick as they could, and well, that's probably because MIBR have no real intention of going for a roam game, which is uncharacteristic of the Bolly. We have kind of hyped up this team as they are just roam. They don't want to sit on site. They want to get out and about. They want to take it to the attackers. And sometimes that's good. You know, we see that work really well for them, and sometimes they get caught lacking, and sometimes the site isn't as reinforced as what it should be, and then they get exposed.
It's almost as if when MIBR bring out more of a turtle-style defense, that's like their comfort pick. That's like their Ying or sort of Monty or whatever it might be that, you know, people and teams rely on to try and crutch around here and there. That's just almost sometimes what it feels like when you look at MIBR, because they are a team of roamers. These are a team of marathon sprinters. They love covering every inch of the map in every single round, and it is uncharacteristic to see them just restrict themselves to one floor and sort of just wait for Black Dragons to set up sufficiently before they execute, because there's so much that Black Dragons can do here, and they're not really concerned about anything that's going on. They're able to take a lot of time, make sure that drone work's done. You can see all the information's been gathered, a lot of info being exchanged there in terms of what utility is available on site. Players taking up different positions now. Perez is likely going to end up going down oil or blue, depending on the call. And of course, whatever the drones call for. Still a drone upstairs in gym there. That was how thorough Black Dragons were on this approach. But what a nade to kick things off. That's something we didn't see enough of from MIBR demo.
Isn't the explosive nature that you get with some of these attackers are so strong. And Black Dragons, again, good control, good stabilization. Whenever they're in these scenarios, we usually see them finish it out. There hasn't been really any clutch potential so far for MIBR, and I don't think it's going to happen for them this time. A 1 versus 5 that Radar has to go up against, and this is a picturesque round, a flawless for Black Dragons. Phenomenal round, phenomenal.
It's probably up there with the best round that we've seen on attack so far this evening. Black Dragons making short work of that. Give them the time, give them the space, and they will take full advantage. They had not a worry in the world after they'd set up some pre-placed drones in the early part of the prep phase and really figured out just exactly what was going on there. Great nade to kick things off. There's always going to be a shotgun player on that vending machine. There's always going to be somebody playing close left, especially a smoke or a mute, someone of that nature. And just the prediction and the lack of utility that was placed there by MIBR, or maybe it had been burnt a little bit previously. Regardless, good heads up from Bassetto to put the nades to use and give themselves a slight advantage. Now, the timer is paused. I'm unsure if we're in a tactical timeout here for MIBR. It would make a little bit of sense that is what we're in, but we haven't had confirmation of that, so we don't exactly know. But as it stands, we can see 5 rounds to 3 here. Black Dragons currently and firmly in the lead. And with the way that they've attacked so far, Demo, it's difficult to see this going any other way. We've seen 3 sites, and we have seen 3 very good attacks.
It's been solid from Black Dragons, and this is where they can really start to put the pressure on. And keep in mind, Ollie, they still, they still have a good kind of safety net, because keep in mind, this isn't their map pick, I believe. So that's always going to be interesting to see the team who's picked the map actually lose it.
Yeah, especially if you think back to the next maps that we've got coming up in this. I believe we're headed to Oregon next. Oregon, of course, being a map that Black Dragons have played only a handful of hours ago against Phoenix, coming away 7-3 there. 4 rounds on the attack. So they've proved their worth today. They really have. They've put in the hard yards, and maybe coming in off the back of a pretty short, in reality. I think it's fair to call that previous best of 3 that Black Dragons played short. It only went, 7-3, 7-2. It's not a great deal when you start thinking about how long a best of 3 really could be. That's probably served as an excellent warm-up for them in preparation to this. Surely we've had a little bit of a break before getting out of that game and into this one. But Black Dragons have brought that tempo through, and they still seem like they're on pace.
Yeah, definitely. MIBR, they need to get this map, because Oregon, me personally, Ollie, isn't a map that really strikes me as, oh, Oregon, that's an MIBR map. I would certainly say that's more of a Black Dragons map than anything. So MIBR need to get this Clubhouse, or potentially they could be staring down at 2-0. And I believe the third map, it's Coastline. Again, another great map for Black Dragons. So MIBR need to get themselves into gear and really give us a good game of Siege, or else it could be a big upset for MIBR. We'll see now as they move into round number 9. Maverick still on the board, so should be able to move in and open up any walls that they need to. That's not going to be an issue. I do like the Flores pick as well. Flores is a great addition to really any lineup at the moment, Ollie. The information that you get, he has 6 drones, 4 explosive and 2 of the normal drones. 3 flashbangs. He does a lot. He does a lot. I think we see a couple of times as well that the Flores can play almost substitute to like an Ash or a Sophia, where you can open up those Maverick holes with a drone. Still, Black Dragon's going to be running Sophia anyway, because it is very, very useful for Clubhouse. So overall, it's a good attacking lineup. Really, the only thing you'd be missing is maybe an extra set of nades. I know they have 4, but I know that on Clubhouse, there's a lot of burn, and 6 nades is usually what we see as a bit of a go-to these days.
Black Dragons were really an early adopter of that Flores as well, I think. They are a team that were very quick to pick onto it, and then after it kind of fell out of fashion a little bit and teams had played with it and then reverted back to other things or changed and adapted further, Black Dragons kept hold of it, and they do like to bring that info, and sometimes it's one of the reasons why we see them spend a little bit more time you know, inside of rounds. But it's clear to see that they're playing an entirely different Siege to what we saw them play yesterday. Bassetto backs one up again. That's the second kill, sorry, the third kill I think that we've seen him get with grenades so far. So really chalking those numbers up now, and that's garage control firmly in the hands of Black Dragons. There's still the potential for a bit of a rotation, but ultimately Black Dragons have got this as Live cements it by getting himself up onto the catwalk.
Catwalk in control of Black Dragons. This is good from them, and keep in mind they have that extra man. Well, oh, as I say that, down goes Perez. Felipox kicking about in those Adam stairs, able to punish that lone Iana. And there's Reduct, goes in favor of MIBR, so we do see a bit of a battle back, Ollie, and Black Dragons starting to slip. And realistically, they shouldn't. I mean, it was a good setup. They had garage control fairly early on. Live has actually had to make his own little play here, looking to slip in right through radio, right into the bomb site. We'll find an easy kill onto the smoke, and that opened things up entirely in favor of Black Dragons now. They have full control of catch, but how can they get a plant down? There's 2 men kind of pinching them, 1 from construction, 1 guy from red stairs. Diffuser will be planted. Ion has to go. A C4 right over his head. Valves finds Batoxy, and now the remaining 2 players are inside of cash. 2 of them follow from MIBR. Fouls is way too late with the C4, and he has to retake in the 1 versus 2. Fires off the C4, finds nothing. Which way to look, left or right? Looks the wrong way. Ion is ready for him. Black Dragons, by the skin of their teeth, hold on.
What a scrappy round. I bet MIBR felt like they'd got it there, where they removed the player with the C4, and they're probably like, yeah, that's the plan, so we can now look to, you know, just to sort of close this round out. But no, the C4 hit its mark, but it hit the wrong one. MIBR looking pretty downtrodden there. They're looking a little bit frustrated. Can't feel good when you're losing a lot of opening engagements to things like grenades. You're losing a lot of pressure early on in terms of what you're actually able to hold. MIBR coming up against a significant obstacle here, and Black Dragons seemingly speed rolling, and they've got that confidence demo. You don't see pushes like that unless a team is brimming with confidence. You commented on it a couple of rounds ago, just that the vibes look like they're high on the bench. They look like they're having a good time on the desk, and it's demonstrated here. Look at these guys just going back to back, covering one another. It's beautiful stuff.
60% of this game, we've agreed on this, Ollie, it's all about your mental. 40% is how you play the game, but realistically, it's all about the mental game. Everyone's been there. Whenever you're in a bad mood, things can just get horrific. But if you're in a good mood and the vibes are feeling well, you can do anything. You know, you can do some of the most craziest stuff that should never work, but just because you think, oh, you know what, we may as well, things are going well, let's have a go. And somehow it gets pulled off. You know, that's a perfect example of you either make the play or the play makes you.
Attacker's objective is to locate.
I hate it when you say that, but it is so true.
Thank you. Jack hates it as well. Jack absolutely hates it because he started saying it.
It's very true. You know, you've got to have that confidence. You've got to have that certain, you know, if you move with that sort of confidence in the game, you shoot with that certain confidence, it does start to come through. We're seeing that with Black Dragons at the moment. We're seeing the way that they're confidently moving through. You know, they've got a lot of drone work going on ahead of Ion right now as he's creeping his way up these main stairs. This is a confident play. He's come up against a bit of an obstacle.
Exactly.
A Banshee to contend with. Of course, he can deal with it very quickly, but that would ruin the element of surprise that he is currently going for. He is now just trying to catch a player out on that rotation.
Looking left and right. It all depends on if the defenders have a suspicion that somebody may be lurking in those stairs. You know, you're seeing the smoke just kind of foul sitting back, not really wanting to move at all. So don't really think they're interested in holding on to those main stairs as much as I assume Ion probably would like them to. Black Dragons have the difficult task of dealing with the kind of construction into cash outside hold that we see a lot, and most of it does come down to how well you can hold on to those red stairs as a defender. The person playing red stairs, they're generally there only to die. That's their role, is to waste time, get kills, waste utility, and inevitably die. There's very little chance of a player top red to actually get away unless you rotate extremely early and are just willing to give up control of that side of the map. And right now, from what we're seeing from MIBR, that's exactly what's happened. And Ion, his patience is worth a weight in gold, because that is a magic goal from him, Ollie. He found one kill. Sure, he gets the trade-off, but still gets the kill that he needed.
Ion's done a great job there, considering how deep he'd got himself, how it was so early on into the round. To have that patience, as you say, to wait and just sit back and relax into it is very handy to have, and not the most common thing to see from somebody playing Ash. But that's maybe another story. It's not all about how quickly you make the entry. Sometimes it's about what you're able to do positioning wise. Perez is poised, ready to hop himself into Jim, but there is going to be a player below on the pool table. Now, I'm not sure if he's aware of that. It certainly isn't currently something that he's considering looking at. Obviously, there's not a great deal he can do about it, but you can see the calls have come through. There's going to be a deployable shield to deal with, and a knowledge that there could be somebody below might just be enough here. Toxic Babe canisters to choke out logistics as Goyos get smashed as well. Not a lot of time for Black Dragons to make the magic happen.
Not a lot of time at all. The Toxic Babes are going to try and choke them out as best as Fals can. Perez, I think he's going to be looking for that gym window jump in, Ollie. It is a risky one, of course, but we'll see if it pays off. Actually, there's somebody below inside of the pool table, Ollie, and I believe that will be a free kill, but somehow 2 kills fall for Black Dragons. A single Maverick lying just outside of that jacuzzi, but a C4 from below. Philippox was lurking the entire time, and the Maestro camera was up feeding all that information. Black Dragons just taking too long, and MIBR being able to exploit that.
Talk about patience. We praised Ion for sitting on main stairs for a minute or so until he got a kill. But Philippox sat himself downstairs in pool and waited until the bitter end of the round. There was nothing left to do at that point aside from send the C4 up and receive your rewards. And that's exactly what Philippox did. Great stuff. It's done something to wobble Black Dragons here.
5 seconds left.
The jacuzzi wall not being open is obviously not ideal, but needs must. You know, there are other things and other focuses inside of the round. There's nothing really that you can do about the C4 from below unless you choose to cover the pool table and unless you choose to do a more thorough job of your roam clear, which, as you've already commented on, Demo, with Black Dragons bringing a Flores every single round, there really isn't a lot of excuse for these guys not having that sort of thing covered, because they've got so much information available to them.
So where does this put us, Ollie? 6-4. MIBR been able to stop whatever was happening to them before. Is there any chance of a comeback?
10 seconds
Is
left
there
before
potential?
insertion.
I mean, I'm looking at the lineup from MIBR. This is them right now. We're seeing the Oryx. We're seeing the upstairs hold. It's a roam game. This is what they're good at. They didn't do this last time they were downstairs in basement.
No, this is where MIBR look a bit more comfortable, isn't it? Just in terms of the lineup. So I think you've got to give that chance of a potential comeback here. It's also worth considering that would it be a true best of 5 if every single map didn't go to overtime? So there's always that to keep in mind as well.
Loading new mag.
I'm sure that's something that the Siege gods will be willing upon us this evening.
Tim's not even here.
I mean, he's been on the show, though.
Is that why it's kind of leaked over, spilled over?
He's worked the show, so surely that is enough to rub off.
Why have you said that? It's going to happen now, isn't it? Here comes the drone work. In go the drones. They will see the hatches are open, and they will see that there's players lurking above, and Black Dragons, they're ready for the fight. Philippox is the first man down. Perez actually going to slip his way in towards that bomb floor, potentially. He could go all the way. Ollie, Church is actually a clear bomb site. Nobody inside of Church. Perez, if only he knew how free it was. Black Dragons not really looking to hunt the roamers, but just keep them at bay. Keep them at an arm's distance in many aspects. It's just, what do Black Dragons want to do? Do they want to try and hit site, knowing that they have the man advantage? Do they maybe want to wait out the roamers? I'm not really sure what the game plan is here. It's a tricky one.
information available for Patoxy here. He knows that there's going to be somebody inside a lodge. He pre-fires his way through, but takes so much damage in the process. But that LMG, you never need to stop. Finds himself a frag onto Redux. Perez is going to fall as first blood for Black Dragons. I'm sure that they are not going to mind too much. Say that, though, as Fowls shuts down Ion, things start to get a little bit different. 1 minute left, and Bassetto going to make a mad dash in towards site, but immediately shut down by Raps as he was removing that Malusi. Live now going to be the next one through. Picks himself one, can't find the second. Players chaining kills back to back, and it's all down to Patoxy. He's got low health, but we've already seen what he's capable of doing with that LMG. The question, how much info does he have? He's still got 2 drones alive, but is he in a position to really do anything about it? MIBR, they may know of his location. He's only got a couple of routes on into the site, given how little was opened, and the pre-fire is going to give the game away. Collects the diffuser and chooses to move his way on up, but gets caught out in the Toxic Babes, gets himself onto mannequins, but he's got a very difficult challenge ahead of him now. Is it the door or is it the corner? Well, it was going to be both, but Fowls picks the corner and manages to win that engagement out. Keeps MIBR in it for one more round.
They keep going. Look at the setup as well on the actual bomb site. Never we seen a team even put up their finger and say one more round, and that ended in absolute misery. So never say one more round. That's to anyone out there. Just don't say it. Don't say it.
It's never one more round, is it?
Nope.
There's always another round to be played.
Mm-hmm. I'm sure evil geniuses across their time have probably dropped that a few times.
Attackers need to locate and defuse bombs.
Now, take it one round at a time is one that I can get behind.
Yeah, but one more round. You're sitting
one more round, though.
Yeah. That's it, shock for you. So, one more round. To be fair, is all that's needed for Black Dragons to win this matchup. One more round is all MIBR need to get it to overtime. They move now over towards the cache. This was actually an MIBR round until we seen some brilliance, I believe, from Live, who just walked in the site and took his gunfights and won them very consistently. I don't know if you can rely on that again, though.
5 seconds left.
There haven't been too many hero plays, have there, up until this point, but there's been the odd one. Look at Fowls, 13 kills, 6 deaths so far.
He's
plays Thermite and Goyo and Mute and Smoke and things of that nature. That's a bit of a hero. That's somebody stepping up to account for a lack of kills elsewhere, which is fine. Flick over onto the side of Black Dragons, and it's going to be Live again. So it's almost battle of the supports here in this matchup so far, as both teams have got supports that are putting up significant numbers, and certainly more kills than the frag players that you would usually be looking toward. But we'll see how MIBR choose to approach this. They're going for a Maverick to open up the wall in toward Cache and CCTV. We've got Flores drones, as is the norm. Mirror window that will be popped and now used as a line of sight. Always a bit of a ropey one, the mirror window. Can make things a little bit more difficult to open up, especially if somebody's going to try and impact. But if you have a willing body to put in the way that is called Bassetto, he is going to be able to hold that angle. Takes Philippox there for free. It's a dangerous way to try and keep control of that wall, given how many other options there are. So MIBR have maybe been a little bit reckless there.
Yeah, this is where MIBR, again, whenever they have too much confidence, some players just think they're untouchable and they go for the swings, but Black Dragons, I think we've kind of looked at them and said they're very good at punishing that early aggression, and they've done that again. They've been able to get that first pick, and Philippox is gone. So now that leaves MIBR in the tricky situation now of, again, that man deficit that they're up against. They still have catwalk control. That is where this round's going to be won or lost, is how well Black Dragons can take control of catwalk, and what do they lose from trying to go for that? You know, I'm talking about casualties. Are they going to lose anyone in the trade? How much utility are they going to waste? They need to do it clean, and they need to do it swiftly because they only have a minute left.
It isn't a lot of time in the grand scheme of things when you start thinking about how long some of these takes can take. But Perez, he's going to be able to find himself one and a second. MIBR, what are you doing? Fowls, why are you all the way in the basement at that moment in time? Raps comes in to try and do something, but gets caught out inside a garage. Black Dragons there. What an opener for them, Demo. That has sent a serious message fired over toward MIBR.
A head scratcher from MIBR. That round, they just kept piling in one after another and just feeding the Dragons.